Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A video answer segment type of video. In this one, the first starting topic is going to be, we're going to be looking at an interview with Scott Gimple talking about the second half of The Walking Dead Season 6 with a focus on Daryl, him promising us fans that we will see more of him. Great, and then afterwards we'll get into your guys' questions. Spoilers if you're not caught up, as always. So for Season 6, second half, this one is written by Susie Graham on undeadwalking.com, fan-sided. I'll put the link in the description below so you guys can go ahead and check it out. The interview initially was with Deadline, and it says... Executive producer of AMC's The Walking Dead promises that we will see more Daryl Dixon in the second half of the season when we return in February. When talking with Deadline, Scott M. Gimple suggested that the second half of Season 6 of The Walking Dead will be very different from the first half. This is something we've heard before. They've told us that they try to reinvent and recreate themselves every 8 episodes. So I'm going to stop there and give my thoughts on that first part. So that is true. I've heard that before in many interviews with Scott Gimple, that he says that basically they separate the seasons up into two. Of course, it's split up when it's shown, but even in terms of show running and in terms of how he plans out the seasons, he splits them up into 2 portions. You've got the first half, which has its own kind of theme and its own kind of feel, and then you have the second half, which has a different theme and a different feel. And I like that. I think that it mixes it up really well, and it gives us kind of not split seasons, even though they're chopped in half when they're shown. We have to wait, of course, for the second half, but it gives us kind of a different feel in the first season than the second half. And if you look at Season 4, and, well, yeah, Season 4 was when he took over. You start to see that trend versus Season 3, where the first half of Season 3 and the second half felt a lot alike in terms of theme and in terms of kind of the action-based style of it. The first and second half of Season 3 were very similar, even though Season 2 was kind of different too. But Season 4, you have the governor in the first part, you have the illness. Then the second half, you go into a totally different territory where you have the group splintered, kind of finding their way back together with Terminus. Joe's group and some of the different villains that are introduced there. Season 5's first half is totally different from the second half. You have, the parts with Beth and Dawn and the finishing of Terminus, and a different feel there. To the second half of Season 5, you have a different feel again with kind of the finding Alexandria. You get Morgan coming in, and you get kind of a, almost more of like, I want to say, kind of a positive half for The Walking Dead, even though you have Rick killing Peter and stuff like that that's going on in the second half of Season 5. But it's a lot, it feels so much different from the first half, where you have Beth, and you have even different character concentrations and things like that. And I really like this style. Then Season 6's first half almost feels like a monster movie for a lot of it. Even the theme song and everything at the beginning, when you have this huge amount of zombies coming out, this got an idea very movie-esque, like Terminator or something. And it's been a totally different pacing than maybe the previous season with Season 5 and prior, where you have the whole half season taking place within, I think people have pointed out, like a couple days or something. You have things happening at different locations, and it's just kind of pretty crazy rapid pace. You have a flashback episode, and just really kind of changing the show as much as they can. I really like his kind of take on that, because it keeps it fresh, and it helps it not be as repetitive as it would be if every season was the same style. And so I like his thinking in terms of that. And I think, he's obviously a freaking genius. Otherwise, the show wouldn't be at where it's at right now. Way higher than where it was Season 4's beginning. He's brought the show up even higher than it ever was previously. So it says, Gimple seemed to suggest that the plot was going to take a front seat and that he was pushing himself in that respect. I imagine that's what we're going to see in the mid-season premiere, and perhaps a few more episodes, as the first half of the season left us at a point where things really do have to happen, quote-unquote. So it says in quotes here, I have us go outside what is my comfort zone, because I love telling stories that are character-based first. And you can tell that with his episodes. You look at Shane's stuff, Morgan's stuff. He's great with, character concentration and developing characters and building them and creating our emotional ties to them. In a lot of ways, this next half season has the character, but the plot really does take over for several episodes, which we kind of saw a little bit of in the first half too. If you minus the Morgan stuff, there was a lot of plot and things happening, and the zombies, coming in, and the wolves and that. So Sounds like we might not get as many kind of character concentrated flashback sequences and things like that they've done in the past before. It's more going to be based on the story and moving things forward to the Saviors kind of coming in and Negan and that, which excites me a lot. Then it says, I was trying to push myself to take it in a new direction. Maybe not permanently, but for these next 8 episodes, I wanted to do something different, and you're going to see something different. So that's really cool. So then we can kind of see, they'll probably reflect on it after it airs, see what people thought, and then that will affect season 7 and the future seasons. So man, he is a genius, and he makes a lot of good decisions. I think that's really smart. Just kind of try different things as you go through, learn from it, and kind of find a happy medium, and then break it, and then kind of find it again. It's smart, like reinvent over and over. It's cyclical. Next part is in this first half of the season, we had many isolated stories, somewhat similar to the Road to Terminus in 4B. According to Gimple, that won't be the case as much in the back half of the season. This past half season saw the characters very sequestered from each other, and there's much less of that in the rest of season 6. This upcoming half season is very, very different than the previous half season in the structure, in the lineup of characters, in the episodes, and I think even in the types of stories we are telling. Very cool. And for those who thought that watching Daryl lead the herd on his motorcycle and subsequently getting his crossbow and motorcycle hijacked just wasn't enough, Daryl or Dixon, for 8 episodes, Gimple did give you a little something to look forward to in 2016. I will say that we are going to see much more Daryl next half season. So that's really cool. So that's kind of the takeaway right there is that we're going to see a lot more Daryl in the episodes. So that's the lead for the article. I like this article. This is good because it kind of gives us an idea behind how we see the feel of the seasons and gives us a little bit more awareness about what's going on and what's happening with it. Very cool. What happened and what's going on. And it also explains too why sometimes you have like a first half of a season and then the second half and they feel totally different and maybe even different in location and things like that. Since season 4, prison, on the road. Season 5, Terminus on the road. Season 6 or end of season 5, Alexandria. Really cool. So let's go into some of your guys' questions. You can write in the comments below what you think about the article and about getting more Daryl in the second half. I'm happy with that. I'm always love to see Norman Reedus, but I'm interested to see what they're going to do with him because he's lost all his stuff. He has no crossbow. He has no bike. Although I think he has another bike, right, too. So he may have been building another one, so that might be okay. But he's going to be pissed that he got jacked, right? So he's going to be pissed he got robbed. So let's see what happens with him next, and of course, whether or not the big question is going to be if we're going to see more of him. Does that mean he's going to be killed off in the finale? We'll see. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm happy with that. So, first question for this one is going to be from Alex, and he says, "Hey Trevo, how the F she going? His language is awful. Just want to know your thoughts on the Talking Dead host. In my opinion, he's a really big tool who makes really stupid jokes and has a very punchable face." It's terrible. No idea how he got the role, but he needs to. Okay, all right, I'm going to stop there. I think it was his idea to create the show, wasn't it, Chris Hardwick? So it was kind of his idea to create that. So in there, they also had Talking Bad too, right, which was good too. I like Talking Dead. I don't always get a chance to watch it. Maybe I should go back during this break and watch the first half of the episodes of Talking Dead just for my own information about Walking Dead and that. Because I don't always get time to after I watch the episodes. I watch the episodes and then I right away start doing the reviews for you guys and the videos for you guys because you guys are more important than me. And I know that. I know you guys as a whole are way more important than I am. So your time, the faster I can get it done for you guys, that's your time. And your time is more valuable than my time. So I have to do that for you guys. So that's the way it goes for me. But I would like to catch up. And I don't mind Chris Hardwick. I mean, he's goofy, that kind of deal. But it depends on what kind of personality that you kind of like or it's kind of what personality you have, because a lot of people really like people that are a little bit more goofy and funny, that kind of deal. However, with me, I'm not really, like with The Walking Dead 2, I'm not really a huge fan. I'll watch some other comedy shows, like I've heard of Big Bang, is it Big Bang Theory, and Simpsons, and just fun little shows like that, Family Guy stuff. But I never got too much into comedy myself. I like comedy, and there's some people that get way into it, right? And he's someone who's kind of more like that, more like down that route than I am. I'm more serious kind of deal than he is. So, I mean, that's what appeals to audiences, right? If you look at The Simpsons, you look at comedy shows, you look at YouTube. There are channels that are 100 times my size or 10 times my size with less videos because they're funny, right? They're comedy, like Jeremy Jantz, right? People bring him up all the time. I like to use him as an example sometimes when I'm explaining. He's genuinely funny, right? He's really, really funny. So his channel is going to grow way faster than someone like me who's a lot more serious, that kind of deal. So people like comedy, and if you're genuinely funny, I'm kind of jealous because I'm not. I'm not really genuinely funny. I'm just not too into that as much. So maybe, Alex, you're on the same kind of boat as me where you're not too much into the comedy. But I do think he does a good job. It's funny. It's not easy to do what he does, I don't think. So you may look at it and think, oh, that's so easy to do. Anybody can do it. It's not, because sometimes you may have stuff going on in your personal life. You may not always feel up and, kind of happy and wanting to do something like that. So sometimes you got to fake it because you might just feel like you feel awful before filming or something. So he's doing his thing. So I don't dislike Chris Hardwick. I might not be too much into the comedy, like I said, but some of his jokes are funny in that, and I think he does a good job. So this is my opinion of him. It depends on your taste and what you like I said, and if you're more into comedy or not. A lot of fans of The Walking Dead aren't so much because it's more of a serious show. However, if they were more into comedy, maybe they like the Z Nation better because it's got more comedy, that kind of deal, and more kind of goofiness, right? Those are my thoughts on Alex. Next one's from Thedukelukem. Okay. Hey, Trev, big fan. I have a theory that you can discuss in one of your Q&As. I was listening to one of your videos when you questioned how Morgan was able to get to Alexandria on foot. I like this question from Thedukelukem. And he says, I wonder if his name's Luke. While the group drove there, I think Morgan did drive a car. In Season 5, Episode 16, we see Morgan meet the wolves, fight them, then put them in a car. He takes the lucky rabbit foot from the rearview mirror. Now that we have seen Season 6, Episode 4, we know that was given to him from Eastman. Yeah, that's true. That must have been in the car. That must have been the car he was driving, or it could have been the one he was sleeping in on his way, right? And since all life is precious, I can believe he would give up his car to keep them safe. Let me know what you think. Well, he did cross a long distance, right? He crossed, like Rick and the others, they drove, and Morgan did cross a long way. So that said, maybe you're right. Maybe he did take a car some part of the way. I don't know if it's that one. It wasn't that one in bad shape. I wasn't paying too much attention. I don't remember too well. But there are some things about Morgan's travel that I'm a little fuzzy on, and I'd like to hear your guys' comments on this and write them below. Was he actually looking for Rick as soon as he left Eastman's place? Because it seems like he walks out, he sees a sign for Terminus, and he heads that way, rather than going like to the prison and then finding out like, okay, this place is destroyed, then I'll go here and I'll look around and try to find any signs of Rick and anybody else. So my question to you guys, write this in the comments below, do you think that Morgan was looking for Rick, or do you think that he just was going to Terminus because he saw the signs, and then he saw the sign no sanctuary, realized it was for naught, and then just kind of traveled out in some other random direction, found the map with Rick's name on it, and then headed towards that because he then found out that Rick was in somewhere else? So write your comments below, guys. I want to know what you think about this and what your reasoning is. Do you think Morgan was initially looking for Rick, or was it the Terminus sign that got him headed in that trajectory? So let me know what you guys think about that, because I want to hear your thoughts. My initial interpretation was he was looking for Rick, and that's why he headed that way. But like I said, when you watch Here's Not Here, it looks like he heads towards Terminus because he sees the sign, and he's like, oh, well, there's a sign. I guess I'll go down here. Maybe I'll go down here. Was he looking for Rick or not is my question. And maybe if any of you guys go to a con or anything, or you get to call in for Talking Dead or something, or get a chance to ask Gimple, I'd like to hear that, or Lenny James. I'd like to hear if that was, or enlighten me if anything was said on Talking Dead or anywhere else, if he was actually looking for Rick, or if he was heading towards Terminus. Let me know that, guys, because I really want to hear what you think about that. But I think you're probably right, Thedukelukem. They didn't show it to us, but he probably drove part of the way because it was a long journey, right? So he probably drove part of it. If he walked there, it would have taken him like forever, right? To do that. I mean, you could do it, but it was, and he was lagging behind kind of a bit till he found them. But Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that question too, whether or not he drove. We didn't see it, but he could have. I think it makes sense. But I don't know if it was that card that he had the lucky rabbit foot in. I thought he was sleeping in there for protection. But let me know what you guys think. Next question, we'll do a couple more from Brian Donovan, and he says, "Hey Trev, as we all know, Carol doesn't take shit from anyone. She shot a little girl in the head and set people on fire for coughing." What exactly do you think she's going to do to Morgan after he possibly gave her a second concussion? Would love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, you're right, man. She is going to be pissed, and she'll probably go to Rick about it because Rick did kick her out last time. So she'll probably know that if she just kills Morgan, Rick might kick her out again, or I don't know. Who knows what he would do? So she'll probably go to Rick because she knows that him and Morgan go way back to talk to Rick first about it before she does anything crazy. I think that's what we're probably going to see. However, like you said, it's within character for her not to. I just think that's the way she would go because she probably learned from being exiled before and what happened to the group. And let's see how we're doing for time. Let's do one more. This is from Danny DeMayer, and he says, "Hey, Trev, I have a question. How many seasons of the Walking Dead television series do you think they will make? Keep up the good work, CIAO." Great question. It's been questions we've talked about many times. People always get crazy about this when I say like 13 to 15 seasons. But they've got it planned out to like season 20. And Fear the Walking Dead is starting now too. But we'll have to see how the ratings keep up, how the views, and how the people involved. Because they're going to need to change out people after a certain amount of time. People are probably going to get burned out. They're probably not going to keep wanting to do it. And they're going to need to do that. Actors and actresses and the production people, of course, have a huge impact. Greg Nicotero and everybody else involved, producers and executive producers and the camera, everybody that's involved with the show is going to need to be changed out at some time. So Smallville got 10 seasons. I'm sticking to The Walking Dead getting at least 10 seasons and hopefully more like 15 to 20. How many do I think? I think it may be a safe bet to say 13 or 14. We'll go halfway. Say some crap happens down the road and maybe they stop after 13 seasons. I'd be happy if The The Walking Dead gets 10 seasons. If The Walking Dead gets 10 seasons, it'll go down as my favorite television series of all time, as long as the quality in the next 4 or 5 would be good. If it can get more than that, great. I hope the comic book series also lasts permanently. I hope that Kirkman writes it for the rest of his life, and something happens to either him or Charlie Adler. I hope he's got it mapped out. I think he does have it planned out to where, what's going to happen where, and maybe if someone else can take over for writing the micro, if he's got a macro plan. Just have it mapped out to what's going to happen with each character, when the huge deaths are going to happen, like Rick's death eventually, maybe Carl's, or what's going to happen with Carl, and then someone else, if he needs to, someone else can come in and kind of do the little details in between. But as long as he's got the general direction, which I believe he does, he's talked about that in interviews, then it should be, the comic series might be good for another 20 years or something, and it may even go on hiatus and then come back or something. Sometimes that happens with comic books, is that they'll go on hiatus for a while and then they'll come back, especially with independent ones like Spawn and stuff like that, McFarlane and that. So we'll call it here for today because I don't want to go on too long for you guys. It's already like almost over 17 minutes. So if you guys like this video, let me know what you think about all those questions, some great questions that were asked, and great discussion topics. Write them below in the comments, and if you guys like the video, you know what to do. Please thumb it up, please share, please favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, we're going to do lots more videos until the return of second half, season 6. I try to do one every day for you guys. Can't always do it, but get as close as I can for you guys. And of course, happy holidays to you guys, to you and your family, everybody all around the world, UK, America, everywhere. Even people, Brazil, wherever, Sweden, wherever you're watching from. Maybe even a couple in Japan. That's it for this video today, guys. I'll see you again real soon, probably tomorrow. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace.